Welcome to the Making of Me podcast, where we explore the moments that shape who we have become. Today, I'm joined by Magic Barclay, a holistic health practitioner, trauma recovery expert, and host of the Magic Life, from surviving life-threatening illness like cancer, stroke, and heart disease to transforming trauma into deep awareness and resilience. Magic uh, has turned adversity into actionable insight for anyone seeking to reclaim their life and hate. But behind the hate, experts is a stories of survival, self-discovery, and relentless determination, shaped by difficult childhood and years of personal and relational challenge. It's really a pleasure to have you on the show, Magic.
It's so good to be here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, Magic, what were some of the challenge or choices that shape you into who you have become today?
Yeah, look, facing my own mortality was the biggest thing. Having my kids sitting on my bed just crying because I was trying to explain what my body was doing or not doing, really was a turning point for me, and realizing that I wanted to keep being a mum and I really wanted to keep living. So I wasn't going to give in to what my diagnosis was.
Wow, that was really a whole lot. And I'm just wondering the kind of emotion that would have feel that period, seeing your children crying and you trying to explain, even if they might not understand to what depth that explanation, but that was really a whole lot. So growing up between neglect and difficult relationship, how did those early experiences shape the way you approach healing and self-care?
Yeah, look, I didn't know that my childhood and my poor relationships would lead to multiple autoimmune diseases. It wasn't until, I had that last minute wake up call that I approached healing completely differently. Before that, I was doing what the doctors told me and I was getting worse. There was one condition, we were treating that, following the symptoms, and then there'd be another condition right on the heels of it. So it wasn't till I made the decision to start really living and really, accepting that it's such a privilege to be able to wake up every morning, that I threw myself into natural health, because I thought, you know what, this is the way of my grandparents. Let's go back there. They were very healthy right until their old age, and I want to be the same.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. Also, you have worked with our chronic illness, trauma, and immune challenge. What personal breakthrough helped you to see possibility when it felt like life was stuck against you?
Yeah, look, there were days that it felt like a battle, pushing a rock uphill. But, what stuck with me was I'm trying. And it doesn't always have to be perfect, or whatever perfect is, because there's really no such thing. As long as you're trying every single day, that's what matters. And as long as you can look yourself in the mirror and go, I've done everything I can for today to make tomorrow better, that's what matters. And so there were days I felt like giving up, and that's just not who I am. So I had to remind myself why I was doing this, for my children, for my future grandchildren, to be able to enjoy life, something that I denied myself for so long. I'd actually put myself on the shelf, basically. So I was just a mum, and I was just a wife, and I was just a daughter. I wasn't me. Like, I didn't
Mm,
even know who I was. And it wasn't until that was nearly taken away that I went, wow, this is what I have to fight for.
yeah, amazing. Just keep trying it. That's actually more like really speak volumes, being that at the end of the day, your heart will thank you that you give it a try, other than just staying back and not doing anything at all. Yeah, that's really
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah, so your approach actually blend out trauma-informed care, functional medicine, and holistic health. How did your own journey lead you to develop this integrative framework?
Yeah, look, my own journey pretty much formed what my practice is now completely. And it was because I didn't get the answers that I wanted when I needed them. So I really looked into, what a lot of the leaders in functional health were saying. And I came across a thing called PNEI. And, it's psychoneuroendocrinology. And it basically means that what you're thinking and the stress that you're under can affect three of the major systems of the body: the nervous system, the endocrine system, and the immune system. And it's all very closely linked. And I realized once I started studying this that, yes, this is what's been happening the whole time. My illness, my multiple illnesses, which were autoimmune, didn't come out of nowhere. And it wasn't my body attacking itself. It was years, decades, in fact, of stress, and my thoughts and reactions to that stress had started this kind of avalanche. It starts off as a little snowflake and it just keeps going. Well, by the time it's an avalanche, you're in trouble. Like, you can't get out of the way, right? So, this was really important for me to comprehend that this hadn't come out of nowhere. And so I really threw myself into studying that. And a lot of the work I do with my clients now really looks at what happened when you were younger. What happened when you were in your teens or your 20s, your 30s, your 40s. Most of my clients are 50 plus. I do take young people as well. But certainly for women who are 40, 50, 60, that's when autoimmune is really going to rear its ugly head. And we have to look at why. Where did it start?
Wow. Sometimes we are the product of what we are brought up in, especially at a young teenage age, even if we can recall most of them. And yeah, our action and inaction later on in life speak volumes about it being that they are unconscious, and until you start digging deep into it and being able to unlearn some certain things, you can actually learn the basic thing that's being needed for good health. And that's really lovely. So you have actually spoken about self-love and reclaiming your life after divorce and abuse. How did that mindset shift take place, and what gave you the courage to take those first steps?
Look, what gave me the courage to start with was the first very small win. And, the first very small win for me was renting a home for myself and my kids and, starting again. And it doesn't sound like a win because, I'm renting, I don't own. But for me, it was establishing a new home base, a safe place to be. And from the first win comes the next win and then the next one. And it doesn't matter how big or small each win that you achieve is, it's still a win, right? And so for me, when there were days when I couldn't even get out of bed, I could still read books with my kids. I could still play Lego with them. I could still cuddle my cats and my dogs, and I could still talk to my friends and family on the phone. They were all wins. So on days that I just didn't have the energy to do anything else, there was some positive there. And what kept me going was the taste of the win. It's hard to explain, but unless you've kind of achieved something, you don't know what it feels like. And once you do achieve, it lifts you up, it brightens you, and it makes you stronger. So you've got to keep going for the next one. And whether that's just sitting outside for 10 minutes and getting some sunshine, that's a win. Or whether it's doing something that you really, really want to do and thought was impossible, that's also a win. So that's what spurred me on, was just the little things that meant so much to me, because I really thought those things were gone.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, it's really lovely to have this conversation. And just you make reference of, sometimes when the heart becomes tough, checking back on those things that make your win, you're actually winning. I think it's a whole lot to reclaim our sanity during where all things are actually more like turning around. And I think it's really lovely that we get to kind of look back at them and take our eyes off those problems. And and it's really amazing. Get into a momentary healing from there. Yeah, amazing. So many people actually more like fate trapped by their heads of the past. What guide you to transform challenge into actionable healing practice?
Yeah, look, for me, my head was stuck in the past. It was, why did this happen? Why did my marriage fail? What happened to all the friends that I had? All those things were in my head. But I had to realize that those things were hurting me. So you really have to look forward. You can't change what's already happened. You can change your response to them. And so, I don't let those things hurt me anymore because they mean nothing. They were then, this is now. And, moving forward, I have to say to myself, what have I got on the horizon? What can I look forward to? And even in my darkest days, there was still something to look forward to. Whether it was dinner with my kids, whether it was taking the dog for a walk, whatever. That was something to look forward to. And we really have to separate from our past. And we have to say we can't change that. So why are we still hurting ourselves with that? Yes, it's part of you, but it's not who you are. It's what happened to you.
It's not who you are. It's what actually happens to you. Yeah, amazing. And it's really a whole lot. I'm just wondering the body it would have been stuck in the past with a whole lot of trauma that comes with it. So you are actually more like so you are a master practitioner in the PNEI of trauma. How did understanding the mind-body connection change the way people think about their wellness?
Yeah, look, it's everything. It changes the way you think about your wellness because what you're thinking and feeling will directly affect how your body reacts to things. So, I'm going to give you an example now of PNEI. A lot of people don't like public speaking. I do. I'm on podcasts all the time. I love it. I love speaking to a crowd. But a lot of people don't. So say someone tells you you have to give a speech to 35,000 people, right? What's going to jump into your head? I can't do it. I'm no good. What if my material's not good? What if I make mistakes? That's all the P. That's the psycho. That's your body telling you, your brain telling your body that you're not safe to do this talk. Okay? So next is your nervous system. All that information will go to your nervous system and you'll start feeling pains and tingles in your hands and feet, numbness, back pain, headaches. That's your nervous system trying to keep you safe. That sends information to your endocrine system. You get closer to the talk and you start getting hot flashes, dizzy, sweaty, feeling like you're going to pass out, nauseous. That's your hormone profile changing. That's your endocrine system. And then the day of the talk, all of a sudden you've got a sore throat, scratchy throat, runny nose, the flu. That's your immune system picking up the baton from all the other systems and saying, I'm going to keep you safe. But guess what? You were safe the whole time. It was how you thought about giving the talk that mattered.
Wow. I think the way you explained it just struck with me that I think I still feel a bit discomfort talking to crowd though. It's easier for me to do one or two persons and the imagination, what you just make reference of talking to crowd sometimes can usually freak me out. And I think there was a particular Zoom call I was out to attend. I think that was 2 years ago. And I was to be one of the panelists and it freaked me out. I switched off my phone, just everything and threw it off. It was after the moment has passed before I got to regain myself. I should have joined the meeting. I should have spoken, but it wasn't. Especially what you just make reference of here, really, this big volumes. And I think doing this over time, actually more like help me little by little to be able to get over the fear. Yeah, and it's really a whole lot. So after you have endure, what daily habits or principle do you rely on to stay empowered, resilient, and focus on your health?
Yeah, look, for me, it's some very simple daily habits. Drinking clean water, not tap water, but clean filtered water. Making sure that I'm getting early morning sunshine every single day. I hear a rooster in the background with you. I have a rooster too. He makes sure I'm up every single morning. So, that's really good. And yeah, just making sure that what I put in my body, I know what it is. Like, yes, my family have takeaway every now and then, but most of what we eat, we either grow or we know who grows it. And so we know it's clean. And that's really important for me. I have a sauna. I try and get into that every morning after I've been out in the sunshine. So they're daily habits I have. Some of my clients will have different daily habits. So there's might be walking to the mailbox and checking the mailbox and then going back inside and having breakfast. That's fine. That's a daily habit. That's going to keep you going. And these daily habits need to be non-negotiable. So every morning my phone stays inside the house and I go and do all my farm chores and things like that without my phone. That is a non-negotiable for me because then everything gets done. I'm not looking at my phone. People can't contact me. And I can tell you I have some of my closest friends still try and phone me at 7:30 in the morning and they know I'm out. And, 2 hours later, I will pick up my phone and go, oh, so-and-so called me, I'll call them back. And that's my non-negotiable. I'm not available at that time because I'm doing things that I need to be doing.
Yeah, amazing. And I think this is really key being that I think everybody should have more like some couples of non-negotiable be just to keep their sanity and their mental health all together, especially in this digital age where everything, every seconds they want to dial a number, every minute they want to send a message on various platforms, and having non-negotiable that you don't get to check. At a certain time, it's really key just to keep your peace and to keep your mind and focus on the particular things you actually want to achieve before the set time. Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing.
My pleasure.
So, thank you. So, as you continue to teach, guide, and inspire others, who are you becoming beyond the practitioner and healers you already are?
Look, as I teach and inspire other people, I'm becoming a better person. I'm becoming someone that I like. So the person I was when I was unwell, I didn't like so much. I look back on her and I just go, wow, very reactive. Now I'm proactive. I'm making sure that I'm putting myself first, not in an egotistical way, but I can't help anyone else unless I'm okay. So I like the person I'm becoming. I like the teacher. I like the lead practitioner. You know, I like the confidant to my friends. I like that person. She's great. And so the more I heal and the more I help other people heal, the more I look in the mirror and just go, this is pretty cool. I like this person.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. It has really been amazing having you on the podcast and sharing your stories on how it gets started and how you provide solutions to it. Yeah, it's amazing being that you've gone through it and now you're more like an advocate for it, championing the cause and helping others to actually get out of it. It's really amazing. I must say a very big thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you. I really love sharing this information.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, Magic, for my audience who wants to learn more about you, who wants to reach out to you, or how can they reach out to you, and where's the best platform?
Yeah, look, the best thing is to jump onto the website www.holisticnaturalhealth.com.au. It's holistic with a W because we treat with holism. We treat every system of the body together.
Yeah.
And it's .au on the end because we are based in Australia. Everything is on there, our free call worldwide, our blogs, all of our podcasts, everything is up there.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much, Magic. Your story reminds us that sometimes the most powerful transformation doesn't begin with a treatment or protocol. It begins with claiming responsibility for your own life and health. Thank you for sharing your survivor. Your survivor became strength, and how you joined the journey shaped the healers and teachers you are today. And to everyone listening, the question isn't just how do I get better? It might just be what am I capable of when I take charge of my whole life. Yeah, it's really a pleasure to have you on the show, Magic. And for my audience, the link is going to be on the show notes to reach out. And once again, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. Yeah, thank you so much. A pleasure to have you on the show.
It was really good. Thank you.